It's a shakedown of abusive debt collectors in Western New York.
We've learned the state attorney general is suing 2 debt collectors right here in Buffalo. They're accused of threatening victims to pay up. News 4's Al Vaughter shows us this is just the tip of the iceberg. Al?
Well, Don and Jackie, the lawsuits by the FTC and the Attorney General are just the latest in a crackdown on outlaw debt collectors here in Western New York. It's easy money for crooks, and upstate New York seems to be the center of the universe for the good collectors and the bad ones.
Just like, get the money at all costs. We don't care whatever we got to do, get that money.
Pay up. Ella Moore says that's all that mattered to the bad debt collectors she's worked for. Collectors like those we've seen busted here in Western New York. A raid at a call center. Agents carting out the records of businesses accused of strong-arming consumers into paying up.
They tell them that they're going to jail. They tell them they're going to be served. They have, like, everybody in that whole place had a fake name except me.
They also use technology to spoof someone's caller ID to make them believe the call is coming from a judge or the police. The threats might also be aimed at family members or even employers.
If they had like a reference, they'd tell them that their reference is going to be subpoenaed to court if they did not pay a debt.
Buffalo native Jake Halpern, a writer for the New Yorker magazine, just finished a book about Western New York's debt collection industry called Bad Paper. For Halpern, it's personal.
A debt collector was hounding my mother over a debt that she didn't owe, and eventually she just paid it, because they kept calling her work and calling her at home.
There are more than 300 debt collection companies in Western New York. Halpern says they're mostly debt buyers who purchase packaged debt known as paper for pennies on the dollar, collect as much as they can on the old debts, then resell those accounts.
It's kind of a Wild West.
The most notorious of those collectors was Tobias Boylan, known as Bags of Money, an ex-con whose associates would use false threats of arrest to get their money. False phone threats like this.
At this point, I will be filing 2 felony charges and requesting Whatcom County Sheriff's Department to accompany and assist me to your residence and or place of employment for your detainment.
There are definitely some bad actors in this business that are knowingly breaking the law and using whatever means necessary.
Federal officials just announced they're cracking down on the fringe debt collectors, specifically those who sell outrageously expensive payday loans or title loans, where a consumer borrows against their car title.
These short-term loans that carry sometimes more than 100% interest rate, sometimes as high as 600% interest rate.
But they're illegal in New York, and Attorney General Eric Schneiderman has forced those predators to walk away from more than $16 million in illegal payday loans.
The bad actors, the really aggressive debt collectors, are not just hurting the consumers, they're also undercutting the good actors. They're at a competitive disadvantage with these folks who are really just financial thugs. This is just financial thuggery.
Joel Castle is a co-founder of a legitimate collection agency, the North Star Companies in Cheektowaga. Call center staff take their job seriously. The pay is good. Castle says bending the rules can cost a worker their job and the company a big-time client.
This is a highly regulated industry. All of our calls are tape recorded. We must keep all of our calls for 7 years. Every call, tape-recorded call.
If you're being harassed by a debt collector, Castle says it's most likely a ripoff.
If you have somebody that's being abusive to you on the phone, is trying to be hard on the phone with you, or demand payment by Friday or else, typically that should raise a red flag with you that you need more. I would terminate the call at that point.
But if the call is about a debt you actually owe, Castle says work with a collection agency where there could be consequences, such as a big hit against your credit score or even a lawsuit. The law is designed to protect you from abuse.
Being broke is not a crime. Having hard economic times is not a crime. And you shouldn't feel like you have to sneak around. Call this in, report it to our office.
Bad debt collectors don't care if you owe the money they are trying to collect or not. If you feel harassed by an abusive or overly aggressive debt collector, you can call the Attorney General's Consumer Hotline at 853-8404. The law is there to protect you.